Hello everyone. I know it's been a while since I've done a window garden update, so I thought I'd take the time today and show you around, show you what's growing in the window. And I'm hoping to get it out in the next day or two and do a rabbit update as well. I know some of you guys have been asking. I'm not a cold weather person, so please pardon me, but I'll try to get one done in the next day or two. So let's get on with the window garden. Now we're going to start here on the bottom shelf. We got our collard greens. I transplanted these out of the long white pot into individual pots. I actually have 2 collard greens planted here, and as you can see, we've been eating off of this, and we just keep getting new growth, and they just keep getting taller and bigger, and they look very healthy. These grow lights I installed has made a huge difference in how things are growing here in the window. And then we have the kale that was also in the same pot. When I transplanted these, I put the 3 kale plants in one pot, and I broke one and almost took it out and decided to leave it and see what would happen. And as you can tell, we do have new growth, so I'm glad I left it in there. Maybe we can get some more munchies off of there. And in the back we have the carrots, and I tell you, I think these things are growing better here in the window than I had last year in the garden. These things are just real beautiful. I'm hoping I have them thinned out enough that I will actually get some carrots. I keep thinking about maybe thinning them out a little more, but I'm going to go ahead and try this and see what happens, and if I don't get any carrots, then next time I know to thin them a little bit more than that. But these things are just about reached the grow light, if you can see that. Probably have a big bright blinding spot in the camera. Here we have our chives is still growing, just not very many of them, but they're growing. And this is one of the volunteer, and I have determined that this is a cucumber, and I'm probably getting ready to pull out all these volunteer cucumbers. I let them grow just to see what would happen here in the house, but I don't want them overtaken. But you can grow cucumber in the house because this thing's getting long, and I hope you can see the little yellow blooms. It's already starting to bud and bloom out. So this plant's not a healthy plant. I keep having to break off the leaves. You got some unhealthy leaves on them. All 3 cucumber plants have that. I just keep breaking them off, and it just keeps going. So I'm probably going to be tearing those out pretty soon. Here is the other 2 collard greens. They're doing very well. Very green. I don't know if you can see the green in that, or if the light's just too bright. Very dark green. They taste delicious too. And over in the next shelf we have the new sprouts. In this tray I have the Table Queen acorn squash, and they are just getting huge. I was hoping to keep these in the house until May, or I'm sorry, middle of March. I don't think these guys are going to have enough room to stay in here another 4 weeks. So I may be trying to figure out what to do with them outside. And then we have our golden acre cabbage. A few of the extra ones that I had in the floor I moved up here, and they're growing, doing well. In the back, in this tray, I have a couple of Brussels sprouts. I have some Turkish orange eggplant that Jesse and I got transplanted, and I think that's all I have in this tray. Yeah. Here we planted some dill It hasn't sprouted yet. We just planted these a few days ago. And then we also planted some mint. So hopefully they'll sprout pretty soon. And then we also planted our pepper seeds. We have 11 different species of peppers. And then I have some forest fire tomato seeds planted. None of those have sprouted yet, so hopefully we'll see something in the next week. Here are the other two cucumbers. These are doing much healthier than the other one. But they haven't bloomed yet like the other one has. These things are getting long and probably won't be here in the window much longer. I will have to either do away with them or find somewhere to put them. This is the California Wonder bell pepper plants that Jesse and I started December 12th. So they're growing pretty well. And then here is our basil and parsley. And we haven't gotten a whole lot of sprouts out of there, so I'm thinking about dropping some more seeds in. Maybe we can get a couple extra plants in there. And then here is some kohlrabi. I took them out of the long white pot and I broke them up into a couple pots. I got a couple plants each in each pot. They're growing. They're doing a lot healthier than they did in that white pot. They're standing up instead of laying over. And you may remember the celery that we had bought from the grocery store, and we ate all the stalks and we took the base of it and we planted it. Look at this. This is that celery. Look how beautiful that thing is, and so tall. I'm going to have to do some research because I believe those have to be bound or something pretty soon to keep them straight and look like celery. Here we have some salad bowl lettuce, which is ready to be trimmed. So I need to get that trimmed up here in the next day or two, throw it in some salad. Back behind this tomato leaf is our other California Wonder bell pepper. Here's a couple more kohlrabi. Here is the Big Boy Hybrid tomato. We got two of those side by side. So they're getting quite large. Won't be long and I'll have to transplant these. I've already bought a pot for them. And I think when I transplant them, I'm going to put them both in the same pot and see if they will grow together and just be somewhat like one plant with two main stalks. Behind the tomato, we have some sage and oregano sprouted up. It's starting to grow, looking good. And if we continue on, here's the sage, stevia plant. It's leaned over and then started growing upward towards the light. Very healthy. We use the leaves to sweeten up our tea and we really like it. Here's some more mixed herbs. Doesn't look like a whole lot sprouted. We have a couple of basil plants here and we have a few parsley plants. But I'm not seeing any of the oregano or cilantro or any of the other stuff that's supposed to be in here, sage and thyme. Here's the buncheon onions. They have seen better days. I think I'm keeping them too wet. So if these don't improve soon, I'll replant some buncheon onions there. The chervil is coming along. We have actually trimmed off some of this and have eaten some of it already. Very unique flavor. I think we're going to like it. And again, here's some more lettuce. This is black-seeded Simpson, and it is ready to go into a salad. And here's our onions. And then here is our radishes. These things are just beautifully green, getting quite big. I don't know if I'm actually going to get some radish out of it or not. but we will have radish greens if nothing else. Alright, here we are on the top shelf. Well, the third shelf. And here are our seedlings. This is our golden acre cabbage here. They're getting in some more leaves and continuing to grow. And then we have our broccoli. It's getting pretty tall. I put these soda crates underneath them because I had trouble with my seedlings being so leggy, and I think this has really helped raising them up closer to the light. They don't seem to be as leggy as some of my previous sprouts. And then here we have Brussels sprouts. They're a couple weeks old now. I guess we transplanted them 2 weeks ago. So they have really done some growing. Zoom in on one of these and let you look at it. Okay, continuing on, here we have our cauliflower. We got snowball and self-blanching, and they're just growing and doing well. Here's my onion starts. I'm not sure I done those right. Again, I think I'm keeping my onions too wet. They stood up for a little while and they're beginning to stand up again, but they go back and forth between standing up and laying on the trays. I'm hoping to transplant those into the garden in the next week or two. Over here we have our ping tongue long eggplant. And our Red Express cabbage. Now you may remember the volunteer tomato plant I have. This sucker grew through the shelf. It was 2 or 3 inches above the next shelf, so I transplanted it into its own much larger pot and wanted to make sure I got plenty of light. So I gave it one of these clip-on shop lights with a fluorescent bulb in it, and that's the setup on that. It is growing crazy fast. So that's what we got growing on in the window garden. I hope you guys have enjoyed the update. Thanks for watching, and as always, until we speak again, keep growing.